Hi everyone, my name is Dominique.
Hi, I'm Marika, nice to meet you.
And we're teachers at the Academy of New York, and we wanted to welcome you to the live session. We're going to talk about...
Today we are talking about job interview tips. So we want to welcome you to our first session. This is for the kind of lower level, maybe A2 or B1. So it's going to be geared for you, and I hope you can get a lot out of it.
And we're going to speak very slow.
Yes.
So if you are tuning in and your level of English is much higher, you may be shocked because we're going to speak like on a slow-mo.
Yes.
Okay, so you want to get a job.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go to an interview. Are you scared?
I get a little bit nervous, yeah.
Just before. And of course you think, okay, what am I gonna say? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna wear? What questions are going to be asked of me? But how many interviews have you attended?
Quite a few. Quite a few in many different countries. How many interviews have you been to?
Too many. But you know what? Going to interviews, it's practice.
Yes.
So you can go and you can practice.
Yes.
Have you ever gone to an interview that you did not get a job?
Yes, of course. But every time you learn something new.
Yeah.
So if you ever have a chance to interview, it's a great opportunity. I always tell my students, even if they're shy with their English, to try the interview.
Yes, and we have many different types of interviews. What types do you know?
You can have an interview in person, so you know, face to face.
Or on the phone, and then it's really difficult to speak in English, right?
Yes, or you can have one like we're having in this session with the live maybe Skype or something else.
Yeah, and I interview people through Skype because we have people coming from abroad to teach English at our academy. And we teach American English, and it is the only school in Poland that teaches only American English. And all of our teachers are from the United States, and we don't speak Polish.
Yes.
So all the classes are in English, even at A1 level.
Yes.
So everything is in English.
So maybe you can come, we'll teach you English and you can teach us a word in Polish, or 2 words.
Or 3.
Or 3.
That's too difficult.
Okay, so have you interviewed many people?
I have interviewed some to join, as far as joining our school as teachers. And before that, I interviewed some people that were pretty scared, but yes.
Do you prefer to interview people or to be the interviewee?
I think I like to interview people because I like to see if the person would be a good fit for the team that I'm putting together. Do you like to be interviewed?
I don't mind it. It becomes easier with more practice and if you know all of the job interview tips that we're going to talk about.
Exactly. How about, do you like one-on-one interviews or group interviews?
Oh, one-on-one or group interviews. So there's good things about both. So I like the one-on-one interview because I have a guaranteed time that I will have for myself. So I can talk as much as I want and focus on one person.
Exactly.
What do you think about group interviews?
Group interviews, if we're interviewed as a group that we're trying to get a job, obviously you try to shine. You try to be the best and show them your personality. But when you are interviewed by a group of people and you are the only one, that brings some stress.
Yeah. It's like a whole panel of people who are sitting there and looking at you and watching if you're making a mistake.
Exactly. But what's important is to sell yourself.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And we will talk about selling yourself, this very American concept, in a little bit. But first, So you've interviewed many people.
Yeah.
What do you think are the most important traits for an employee to have? So when you're interviewing someone, what do you look for? What are some adjectives or, I don't know, personality traits that you want to find in your potential employee or candidate?
Well, I want people to be confident when they come into my office and they make that first impression. It's so important. Then the next thing, of course, that first impression, well, confident, ambitious.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
That's
I
one.
think ambition is also important, but at the same time, people have to be able to work in a group. So someone should be, I think, team-oriented, especially if you work on a team.
Yeah, and have that team spirit. And when you're working on a team, you want to be reliable. You want people to be able to count on you. And of course, when you are working on a team, you don't want to basically be a person that is not wanting to do the job. You want to be positive, right? And we wanted to welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, I can see some comments already.
If you guys want to ask us any questions, we can answer them live. So we welcome any questions.
Yes. And also, I have a question for you, my dear audience. What do you think are the most important traits in a potential employee? So if you have had a job interview, what would you say to your interviewer that are your good qualities? Some really good qualities that you have that make you a good person to hire.
A good fit for the team. A good fit. That's one of the words as well. So you guys think of those words. Maybe you can show them and write them to us. The worst interview in your life.
Yeah, we'll get to that later.
Yeah,
maybe never.
Yes, they did happen. The ones that we didn't get the job, or the ones that we, I don't know, didn't want to get the job, maybe.
Yeah, later.
Later.
Yes, but going back to some important qualities that you want to find in a candidate, I think something that is important is to have a candidate who is accountable. So someone who you can trust, someone who's honest, who tells the truth. Maybe someone who, if they make a mistake, they won't be like, oh, it's not my problem.
Yeah.
I have nothing to do with it. Maybe they can take responsibility and have a mindset of, okay, how will I fix it? So I think that is very important also, and American employers really look for that kind of thing.
We look for driven people. We want somebody who's enthusiastic, who's able to manage themselves. We don't want to be in a team that we have to constantly tell people what to do. Of course, we'll lead you, but we want to see that enthusiasm, and we want to see the hard work. We want to see someone who is self-managed, right? And definitely, in a way, also proactive, which means you want to anticipate what may happen in a given situation. So those are the traits that we really want in someone who is trying to get a job.
Yes. Here we have a question. What can I do to be less nervous during an interview? So in the beginning, we talked about confidence.
Yeah.
So that is the number one, the first trait that we talked about. What can we do to seem more confident and to be less nervous?
You can possibly, I think, well, definitely if you know any relaxation techniques, you breathe. One thing that also helps is to really have a conversation with a person. Interview is a conversation. So obviously you want to look at the person. They're there to listen to you, not to put you down. They will ask you questions, but if you want to be really less nervous, prepare.
Yeah.
You have to prepare. And like I said before, you can go to many interviews. So you will be able to practice and already be prepared for the one that you really want to get. So even if if you go to an interview that you are not expecting to get the job or not wanting to particularly get the job, but just trying to see what it's like, there you go.
Yes. So practice is important, preparation is important, and we will talk about some ways you can prepare for such an interview. And some of the relaxation techniques. My personal favorite is the power pose. Ooh. So you go to the bathroom and stand. You do your power pose for 30 seconds. Like it can be this, or it can be one of these. And because you're doing this, pose that makes you feel
all powerful,
super powerful.
Yeah.
Then this carries over to the time. It's a little bit silly, but that's my strategy.
I tell you, I had a friend who actually asked me to record something for that person, and it was one of those motivational tapes. And it was like, you are entering right now this beautiful woods, and there's a road, and the road leads you to the job, and all those feelings that you want to have when you're getting that particular job. So yeah, I've done one of those things as well.
You know what?
Which helps.
Maybe we can record one for you in American English.
There you go.
So you can practice. So we'll make a relaxation tape for you.
Yes, right before the interview, breathe deeply, and at the same time, you're gonna get that job, and imagine yourself actually having the job.
Yes.
So those are the things. But when you enter the room, what's important? Well, first of all, I'm gonna laugh because we were not planning on it, but we're dressed for success, right? That's what we're dressed for, success. Yes, you have to prepare. You have to prepare maybe even a day ahead to know what you need to wear, something comfortable but yet smart.
And smart we mean not smart up here, but smart like maybe a little bit fancy.
A little bit.
Maybe a little bit fancier than you would normally wear. Yeah.
Have you ever gone to the interview that you were not wearing fancy clothes, like business? I have.
What were you wearing?
I was wearing scrubs because I was actually finishing I used to be a nurse, so I was finishing one shift at one hospital the whole entire night. And of course, I apologized and I asked for permission, and I showed up at my interview in my scrubs after a whole entire night of work, and I got the job. So
congratulations.
Thank you. Okay, so you guys can find more about the school if you get online, and you can also subscribe to a course online, and we can teach you those tips in person.
Yeah.
And we can also practice interview skills in the classroom. So you just call us or text us. If you call us, speak English. If you happen to talk to any one of us, either through online platforms or on the phone, the first language you hear is Polish. But then, if you really want to speak in English, then there you go.
Yeah. Come
to a classroom and do a trial with one of the teachers, and you will speak English right there and then.
Yes. Going back to things we can practice in person in the classroom, one of my favorite things to practice is the American handshake. So in American culture, it's important to when you greet somebody new, we do a handshake.
Yes, we do.
I know in some culture you do I guess not in a professional situation, but you might do a cheek kiss, or sometimes I don't know.
Or maybe you bow. Sometimes you do
yeah.
that. Not in Poland.
Not in Poland.
But yes, I've had so many different handshakes, and yes. So things. Let's see. Let's just show
what not to do.
What not to do.
Okay. So.
Yeah.
We used hand sanitizer.
We did. Yeah. So we're safe.
We're safe.
But one of these things, she's not gonna kiss my hand. And we're not going, the little fishy right here. It's not anything
wobbly.
The
wet fish.
Yeah, exactly. So this is not it. At the same time, it's like I said, And at the same time, you should not do one of these things when you're like trying to like pull her on my side. I'm like, hi. This is not really showing power. Yeah, it's not showing
too aggressive,
power.
And yeah, you don't want to like. Sometimes that happens. Someone squeezes my hand,
and if you wear rings,
pop out.
ouch! No, don't do that. This is not even. But a firm handshake. One that is, and even if you can look at the person,
yes,
that's one of the traits. And the funny thing is, I don't know if you know that, but when you are, we're usually shaking our right hand, and it goes right directly up to our face, and we can look at somebody, and there you go, and you make contact. Very often, when you see someone wearing a name tag, it also really should be worn right here, because your eyes go directly up. And they go right over here. We tend to put everything on this side, right? Because we are right. Most of us are right-handed people. This is the easier way, just to slap it on right here. But in reality, in any business book, this is the right place, because I'm going to show you that on that. See right here? Look, her eyes go right directly to my name, and she knows my name already. Yeah. And of course, it is really important to greet somebody by name. Because then you really show the interest into the person.
Yes, and another tip is if someone introduces themselves to you, like an interviewer says their name, it's good to say, hello, Dom, to say the name out loud.
Yes.
Because usually we're too busy thinking of our own name when we say it, and we don't actually hear the other person saying the name, and we forget. That happens to me, but I don't know.
I'm terrible with names. I have to hear it, otherwise, so if you come to my classroom, I may not remember your names at the very beginning. You have to repeat it a couple of times, and I remember faces, not the names, so I do apologize.
So another thing about body language. So we did the handshake. We want to look at the person's face, maybe not like eye contact the whole time.
That's creepy, isn't it?
Yeah. But looking at the person's general face, so it doesn't seem like awkward.
And you don't want to look above them. You don't want to look below them or to the sides. And at the same time, when we talk, see, we're moving our hands, both of us. Sometimes if you were to have an interview and there's a table in front of you, you actually want to lean forward. That means you are interested. So your body language speaks volumes.
And if somebody is speaking to you, you want to nod your head to show that you understand what they are saying. Yeah,
and exactly what I just did. I said, that means we're listening. So you have to show that you're an active listener. This might not be normal, quote unquote, normal in every culture, but that's American culture.
Yes.
Because if
I don't
interacting. Exactly. We're listening to each other, we're interacting, saying, I understand, yes, of course. So those are the things that we do. And that shows that we are attentive.
Yes. Okay, and so maybe let's talk about selling ourselves. So we're going back to a topic you mentioned.
Yeah.
In America, it's culturally accepted to do something that is maybe not acceptable in Eastern European cultures or East Asian cultures, or even in France or Spain or those Mediterranean cultures also. And Latin America also. It's a very American, Northern European thing, and it's to sell yourself. A nice way of saying bragging.
Yes, we want to brag about ourselves.
Yeah.
We are a culture of individual people, and it's an individualistic culture. It's extremely American, that's what we are. And we are taught from the very, very beginning to be the best at sports, to join teams but win and basically show people how great we are. And we expect praise as well. But we want to show the greatness that just entered the room.
So if you are going to an American interview, do not be shy about your skills.
No.
You have to, explode with your personality, maybe not personality, but with all the good things about you. So if you have some sort of achievement, you don't want to hide it. You don't want to be like, oh yeah, you know, it wasn't a big deal. You know, it was something little that I did. It didn't take that much time.
No, take pride.
You want to own
pride.
it.
Yes.
Yeah, you want to own it. You want to be like, yes, I did this, and this, and I was great at it, and I had results.
I was the best swimmer.
Amazing.
I was the best in my class in, I don't know what, sports.
Yes.
Or
I went to the best university in
the world.
I studied English at the best English school in Poland.
The Academy of New York. Exactly.
Yeah.
See, you can say that.
Yeah.
And you speak American English. And why American English? Because this is the language or the accent that is so well known because of Hollywood, right? Because of businesses in Poland. From what I've learned, there are a lot of American businesses here, and some of my students actually say, yes, I work for an American company and I'm here because I want to learn English. American English because I want to understand my bosses. I'm like, okay, great. And at the same time, all the music is in all the music is in American, not all of it, but a lot of it. Movies, Hollywood, and popular culture. It's American. So you want to be in it. You want to understand.
Yeah. And there's a lot, you know, even in America, there's a lot of different accents to learn. So it's an endless mine of fun.
Definitely.
Okay, anyway, so we have a question from Milana. What about an outfit? So from what I've learned from different people that I've coached for job interviews is that it really depends on the job.
Yes. Like I mentioned before, it was okay for me to go to the interview in my nursing scrubs. It was actually acceptable, but it might not be acceptable to go to an office in jeans.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I talked to some IT people who work in IT and computer science, and I asked them like, what's acceptable to wear you know, if you're a programmer.
Yeah, what did
they
say?
said, yeah, like you just wear what all the famous programmers wear, and it's like a hoodie and some sneakers.
So see, it depends.
Yeah,
it depends on the culture of the place. If you want to get a job in the corporate world, obviously pencil skirt, obviously some heels, obviously you have to look like you're put together. If you want to get a job as a teacher, you wear what we wear. If you want to get a job as a construction worker, you can go and wear jeans. Again, it depends on what job you're getting, but it has to be comfortable. You don't want your outfit to stop or to make you feel even more stressed out because, I don't know, you're wearing white and you just spill some coffee that you had on your lap when you were driving to your interview because you were so stressed out. So no, don't want to do that.
So something maybe it's better to be overdressed, I think, than under dressed. Hoodie and sneakers. I personally would not wear a hoodie unless I was like a 15-year-old person trying to get a job as a lifeguard at a beach,
but even then, you know, I've seen I've seen a gentleman that was helping a young man to tie a tie because he was trying to get a job at McDonald's. But he really cared about the fact that he wanted to present himself. He wanted to show the best. Remember we talked about showing your best? That's what you really want. Even if you were to get a job as a janitor, the person that cleans, you want to look presentable. So sure, we laughed about hoodie and sneakers, that if you're a programmer, of course, because nobody sees you. But it really shows your potential employer that you really care and you want to represent them in the future, because of course we look at somebody and we want to see our potential employee and we want them to be able to represent our business.
Yes. So you have to present the best version of yourself.
Definitely. But before you choose your outfit, we want you guys to subscribe online to a course with us, either with us or with other teachers. There's about 20 of us at the Academy, so you can just call or text us.
Yes, and we can give you some more fashion advice.
In English.
In English.
In American English, right?
We'll help you shop even.
Yes, well, our academy is located, guys, right near the biggest mall, the most beautiful mall, right in the center of Warsaw. So you can, go shopping and we'll help you pick an outfit, and then you come over to the academy.
And we practice some interview questions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can see if your outfit really fits. We can tell you, hey, this works, it doesn't work, thumbs up or thumbs down. Mm-hmm. So we can definitely do that. If you have a receipt, you can return it, and then we can help you choose something different, right?
Anyway, back to selling yourself. So something that is important if you are interviewing for an American company. Many American companies, many Americans do not know a lot about Poland.
True.
Or Europe or...
Poland is next to Spain, and according
some, yeah.
Anyway.
It's quite far away, literally, for many Americans. So if you are interviewing, you have to sometimes support the information that you say with more detail.
Yeah.
So
if you were to go to Warsaw University, people may say, well, yes, this is the biggest, the most prominent, the best university in Poland. If you go to the university in Krakow,
this field, yeah,
in specific field. So you use words like that. People may not know Warsaw University or how do you say that?
Jagiellonian University.
There you go, that one.
Or
so
the Economics University.
Economics University.
Well, I guess economics it's obvious because it's economics.
But if you use that abbreviation, nobody's gonna know what that is.
Yes, or if you work for a small company, you can say like, oh, I worked for this and this company, which is, a major exporter of sneakers in Poland.
In Poland, there you go.
Something a little bit more information. So then the American interviewer who's like, what is this person talking about, will be like, aha! So now I understand. So remember, if you're if you have experience here, you have to sometimes include more information for the American interviewer. For the American audience.
And very often what happens, sometimes you're being interviewed online through Skype. So they don't even, your potential employers are not even in the same country, on the same continent that you are. So, and they don't know anything about you, or they don't know anything about the country. They're just learning. So you are their teacher. You're basically representing your country and your heritage and yourself. Again,
it's a great opportunity.
Selling yourself you're selling yourself to get the job.
Yes. So
someone asked about the worst interview. Remember that question? Oh yeah. It was, I think I was in high school. And I was trying to get a job selling fake perfumes on the streets of one of the cities I lived in.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did it go wrong? What can possibly go wrong?
It was just not the right place or the right time, or I was 15, I think, maybe 16.
Is that legal?
I don't know. Maybe that was illegal too. So who knows? It was just, maybe that's why I didn't get the job. But I wanted to, because I really wanted to work and I wanted my own money. But no, that was not a good thing. But I think just being stressed before the interview. Some people, I think, told me they were throwing up and spilled coffee.
Yes,
Yeah. Let's talk about questions that you may be asked.
Okay, some questions.
Or maybe you guys have questions. So you think of questions, and we're going to talk about questions that you may be asked at the interview. And definitely we'll try to help you come up with the answers. Remember, you were telling at one point that you were teaching somebody for an interview and actually were practicing some questions?
Yes, so in some courses, if you're a client who wants to work with us, we can do some interview coaching in English. So if you have a specific job interview that you want to prepare for, you can bring the job description, and then we research some questions, and you can prepare the answer, and then we practice it, and I can give you feedback. So you have somebody, you're not just going into the interview without preparation.
Exactly. And if you're having a job interview that's coming up and it's sometime in April, come to the Academy. We're starting our new trimester in April 6th. If you are joining us online, you can start as soon as tomorrow. But yes, so call us, text us, or even leave your email. Don't leave your email on the live thing, but you can always ask, right? And we'll get you guys talking. And Marika or myself will get you to be prepared for your interview.
Yes. So the kind of feedback, we can also give, I don't know if you give CV feedback?
I do give CV, definitely. We can help you even write your CV. We have at the Academy, you know what, we have workshops that happen every Friday, and I actually conducted one about writing your CV and what should be included in a CV. So it's really, really important. And of course, you know what, we say CV, but really in America, what do we use? Resumes. Yeah. Those are different structures. Different structures, different English, different words. You want to have specific words. Remember those words we use, that I'm reliable, I'm positive, I am hardworking, I have team spirit. Some of those words are important in your resumes. And of course, if you're applying for a job with an American firm or a company, we'll help you translate or interpret what CV is to a resume.
Yes.
Just a little bit different.
Yeah, sometimes an American resume, they don't require certain information that I know is common. Yeah, no photos,
no pictures.
No, I don't know, status of marriage.
Yes, no age,
birthday.
Yes, they cannot ask you if you're married or single.
Gender is also.
They cannot ask you if you're female, male, or whatever you are. They cannot ask you if you have children. Let's see what else. But yes, those are the things you're not allowed to ask in America.
Yes, and
but no picture.
Don't give them a resume that contains that information.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, but here are some tips. So something that I like to include in when I'm writing a CV or a resume, or when there's an interview. There are some useful verbs that you can use. So I want to mention some of them, but I can comment later with some more, or you can come talk to us during class.
Yeah.
But here are some tips for the kinds of verbs you can use in your CV or resume. So you want to have action verbs.
Yes.
Because remember, we don't care that much. Well, Americans don't care as much about certificates, or
we don't.
The
list of certificates, what kind of achievement you have, is not that important.
It's more important to say what you actually did. So I got a degree from this and this school of economics.
I achieved something.
But you want to talk about maybe what you did in a certain company and what was your role. So because that's what matters more in an American interview.
Yes.
So some good verbs can be related to growth.
Yeah.
Like I increased sales, I improved conditions, I stimulated growth.
I developed.
Yes, developed, expanded,
what
upgraded a system or something. Or,
So all those things all those words are gonna show your potential boss that you are again enthusiastic, reliable, positive, confident, and
experienced,
and that you are self-managed.
And
that you are creative. Because you have to you have to be creative, and you have to again sell yourself.
Yes,
right. Sell yourself.
Yes. You want to sell any leadership skills that you have. So anytime you managed something, you directed something,
you led a team, you decided
something.
And
controlled something or collaborated with a different team. You want to have action verbs.
Yes, and when you sped something up, when you increased sales, or whenever you change the process and make something go faster. So definitely that's a good word as well.
Increased efficiency.
Yes.
Yes. So all of these we're very verb oriented, so not just a stack of achievements, but what we did.
And we have lists, yes, and you think out of the box, definitely.
Yeah. Creativity.
Creativity is very, very important. And when you come to the Academy, we have a list, and we may provide you with the list of those verbs. And like Marika said, we will comment after our session to be able to have some of those as well.
Yes. So, Paulina here asks, why do you want to change a job? Any good answer? So let's talk about some common questions, and maybe what are some
good answers, or just being ready for those. So why do you want to change a job? I said in my interview for my last job, not this one, that I wanted to improve and develop. I was going from one workplace that I was working as a charge nurse or personal leadership, and I said I would like to develop. I would like to move up. We talk about the career ladder, right? And you want to move up on the steps of the career ladder. So you want to develop, you want to invest in yourself. And by being in a specific company, whatever the company might be, you are investing. You see the company, you can actually bring the positives to the interview and bring the positives of the company. I've been researching, I looked at it, and I really think that's a very good fit for me and will help me to develop, and I have this and this to offer.
I think that is a great answer, because then you also show the person who's interviewing you that you have a growth mindset.
Yeah.
So people want to hire employees who are willing to grow, to adapt, to change, to learn.
The question, the question that we don't like, we talked about it, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Well, exactly, the growth, the development, maybe a different degree. I was asked at one of the interviews, well, so you have this degree and this degree and this degree, how about if you get a master's degree in a specific field? And I said, well, that's an idea. And of course, some of the institutions, they actually help you get the education, and they encourage you to get the education.
Yes. So growth is a very important quality to mention when you're, So one thing that's important, do not criticize your former job.
Do not.
Big no.
No. Because you never know who's listening.
Yes.
And you don't want to burn bridges.
Yeah,
because you never know if you're going to like the job that you want to get, so you may go back. But at the same time, if they see you already complaining at the interview about your former employer, that brings kind of negativity that they don't want. Remember the words that we're using? Positive. You want to be positive. So the truth is that I was leaving one job because of certain situation, and I said, well, I just want to develop. And my time over there was up. I went as far as I could. I want to develop. And you can make it into a positive, because change is good, right?
Yes, positive change. So here's a good word that Iman mentions, to cope. So sometimes interviewers ask a really difficult question. They ask, they tell you to describe a situation
that might be difficult.
That was difficult, and how you overcame it.
And basically, what kind of strategies you use.
Yes, what do you use to cope with a crisis, or with negativity, or how do you handle stress?
Yes. So I have one example. I've been asked that question, and for those who know me, I do draw, and basically at the job interview, and that's the topic of our session right now, someone asked me, so what do you do in stressful situations? How do you cope with stress? And I said, well, actually, I draw. And I said, well, I have a book of my paintings that were published, and I just showed it to them, and they were like, oh my goodness. So it happens. So come prepared. Again, come prepared to your interview with whatever you may need to sell yourself, right?
Yes. Preparation.
Yes.
bring, they say 5 copies of your CV.
Yeah,
I usually bring 3, but 3 to 5 nice printed copies of your CV, because even though a person may have printed it or is looking at it on the screen, you want to have it for yourself. So I can remember what my experience is, and just in case you want to hand it to the other person who's interviewing.
So be prepared again. And you know what the fun tip is also, because we all talk about being prepared and trying to answer questions, but the good question to ask your potential employer is, so what in my resume or what in my CV made you choose me for this interview? And that kind of changes the whole entire, because you bring the positive.
Yes.
So what about me made you invite me to the interview? Made you invite me to the interview?
Yeah, so at the end, at the end of your interview, so let's imagine our interview, because we prepared, we took all of the tips from this live Facebook thing.
Yeah.
You took all the tips, you had an amazing interview, and now it's the end, and the interviewer says, "Oh, do you have any questions for me?"
Exactly.
So that's a really interesting
You have to
question
be prepared.
Another question you can ask is, could you please describe to me in more detail what a typical workday looks like here?
Exactly.
Yes, and you know, if you have any specific questions, for example, as a language instructor, I always ask about the size of the classes, who is the clientele, or what kind of resources do I have to do my job. Then it makes it sound like you are very prepared. And you are prepared to do a job, and you ask the right questions.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah.
And people want to actually know that you are interested in the company that you are applying for. When you guys come and we do trials, because we check the level of your English, and I see you as students, I usually ask, why did you come here? What made you come to the Academy of New York? And I wanted to do a shout out to our students that are currently watching. Hi guys, we see your comments. It's also important, you guys, to ask for further steps when you're done with the interview. What's the next step? Are they going to call you back? Or are they going to email you?
Or will they just tell you nothing?
And they will just tell you nothing. But to actually kind of prevent from them saying nothing to you, what do? You write a thank you note. You write a thank you note, which is really American.
The cherry on top of the ice cream sundae.
Exactly. And it's very American, because I know that in many cultures you do not write a thank you note, but in America you do. You thank for everything, and for the interview, you thank for the time, you thank for being a part of the day at that point. And we wanted to, guys, thank you for being here with us as well, right?
Yes, thank you for listening to us,
to our tips
and watching us. And
if you have any questions, again, call us, text us, show up at the Academy right next to the big guitar in Center City, and join the Academy of New York as our students. We welcome you with open arms, right?
Yes.
And we'll help you get a job.
Yes. Hopefully.
But
usually we can help.
Yeah, so it's really neat when we see our students and we see you guys being successful.
Yes.
And you can really be successful at the Academy of New York, right?
I think so.
Yeah, you can, totally.
Yes,
you can totally.
Yeah. And to any of my students watching who I haven't seen in a few weeks, I miss you.
Yeah, I miss you guys too. So if you want to, you can see us online. We are currently teaching online. And hopefully we'll see you in person when we are able to, and we're all safe. And we'll be able to see you guys in person in the classroom.
Yes. And if you want to tune in if you're finishing listening to us, you can tune in on Monday. It will be the next live session, and Adam and Chris will be talking about 20 American slang words
you need to know, because slang is important to understand us.
Yes.
Okay, it was nice seeing you guys, and if you want to tune in, we are going to do something higher level in about the next session.
Yes.
Okay.
So we will talk about some more questions, some more typical questions that can appear during the interview.
And how to get ready for those.
Yes, and how to prepare.
All right.
Okay,
bye guys.
thanks. Bye.
Hi guys. My name is Dominique.
And I'm Marika. Welcome back. If you've been listening to our A1, A2, B1 level. And now we're gonna speed things up a little bit and address the B2s and the C1s.
The C1s.
So let's see if you can keep up.
Yes, exactly. And we are both of us are teachers at Academy of New York, and we've been on the market for about 10 years, right? 10 years, and we have wonderful teachers. We teach American English because that's the best English in the world. No, but at the same time, it is the largest economy, and American English is the language or the accent that you hear in so many different places. You hear it in the movies. You hear it, among music stars. Let's see what else. I even heard that a lot of people in Britain speak more like Americans because of the pop culture. So obviously that is important. And at the same time, a lot of companies are here in Poland.
Yes.
And there are more American companies here in Poland than in anywhere in the world, right? Possibly.
Guess, yeah, possibly.
Yeah, Poland is a developing country, and some of my students are working for American companies, and they come and study with us. So,
yes. So not only companies, but also if you're a university student or academic, if you're a professor or something, it's also useful to know American English.
Of course, it is.
The academic front.
Yeah.
So so in America there are lots of different accents. What's your favorite American accent?
Texan. No. Maybe because I moved there and I lived there for the last 10 years, but Pennsylvania was where I grew up. What about you?
I like Brooklyn. It's my home.
It's
where
home.
I'm from. I like listening to it. It's like,
it feels
comfort,
warm. Yes,
comfort
the comfort
accent.
thing. Yes. But there are many accents in the world of English. In America, every state, a different accent. So if you say, oh, well, I know American, and then we can say, hey, how about some Californian? And if you want to explore those different accents, come to the Academy, join or subscribe or call or text us. We have about 20 teachers, and we are from different states.
Yeah, so there's like a wide diversity. You can
come and explore, and definitely
it's like a little mini trip around the United States.
Yes, it is. It is. And you can say, well, I want to listen to this accent today, and then I'm going to listen to a different accent. So it's kind of it's a fun experience. And some of the accents are more difficult. Some of them are a little bit simpler, but yeah. And of course, when we teach, we kind of switch it a little bit too. So it's a fun thing. But the topic for today
is job interview tips. Yes. And actually, speaking of accents, I had an interesting situation where one of my students came to me and she said, oh, Marika, I have an interview in English. Can you help me? And it was one of her... not too stressed out, but a little concerned.
Just a little bit.
So she was actually concerned that she would not understand her interviewer, but because her interviewer was from, he was an English speaker, but not necessarily from America. It was an American company, but so she was asking like, how can I practice my listening?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. What did you tell her? I would say it's important to either come to class and listen to us, or if you want to listen to a real live English, you can, or American, you can put on CNN or Netflix, but switch everything off as far as subtitles, because you want to listen to be able to practice.
Yes, and what I always tell students, because students maybe you're listening to a new language and you're like, oh my gosh, this person is speaking too much, too fast, I don't understand anything.
Yeah.
If you listen for maybe a few minutes and you can pick out even one word, that's a success.
Exactly.
And I think that's successful listening.
Definitely.
And you realize the more you listen, the more you will
Yeah, they
learn.
won't
And I
understand.
know this from learning different languages. It works for me. That is my strategy.
Yeah, and we teach that to you guys. We teach you to be able to listen to as many different accents as you possibly
Yes.
can. We live in Europe right now. You will hear American English, you will hear British English, you will hear English that is being spoken by non-native speakers. That's a different aspect, different accent in itself.
Yeah, you have to communicate somehow. You can learn from your if you come to class with us, you can learn from your classmates as well. I
Exactly.
think that's also important.
Yeah, and just to start us off, our new trimester starts April 6th, and you can join us either online or, well, when we're allowed to come back to school, we will be back in school. But if you want to join us online, you can even right now. But for groups, all the trimester starts April the 6th. And you can come and see for yourself how we teach, and we'll teach you today some interview tips. But in general, any aspects I think of English we can work on. I don't know. I teach medical English and business English.
I have a few lawyer students.
There you go. See, I teach. You think of universities. I teach university professors. And those are the students that are at our academy. We teach business people.
A lot of business.
A lot of business people. And they want to improve English because it is the language that is so beautiful. Because you can communicate and get that better job, right?
Yeah.
You want to get the job. You want to be able to communicate freely. You want to learn the language that is spoken around the world so you can get a job anywhere. And we'll try to help you today with getting that job and putting that package, which is you, into the world out there. Either trying to help you write a resume or CV, as we are living in Europe here. So you can come to the academy, and also we can help you and give you some tips, or even check your resume if you have one, and we'll get you ready for the interview. So starting with the beginning, right?
So I wanted to discuss something. So in the last session, we talked about different types of interviews. So one-on-one, groups, group of interviewers,
Skype interviews,
and phone interviews.
And phone interviews.
Pre-screening.
And pre-screening, yes, because at the very, very beginning, there's pre-screening. So when you think about pre-screening...
pre-interview screening, that's what we mean.
That's what it is, exactly. So it is very popular in America, and I've learned from my students it's not popular here to do one thing, to even do personality testing. Yeah. Because, yes, and people said, what do you mean? Is that even legal? And I'm like, yes, it is actually very much so legal. So you may find yourself answering questions about, I don't know, what do you do when this and this happen, and choose the best answer. Or when you have, I don't know, a yellow car and a red car, do you choose yellow or red? There's some kind of an answer. So they're trying to find your personality and if you fit within the team, because even though you may have the qualifications, you may not have the personality for the particular team. So when we interview people, and I've interviewed people for jobs before, I look for the best fit for the team that I already have.
Because as an employer, you don't want to waste your time.
Exactly.
In the end, actually something that helps with the pre-interview nerves also, in the end you have to remember that the employer wants to hire somebody as soon as possible.
Yes.
So they're kind of almost on your side. They want you to be the candidate of their dreams.
Exactly. So you have to show them that you are the best fit. So when you come to the interview, you even want to say something like this. So what on my CV or my resume made you choose me to come and be right here in front of you? And of course that brings the positive attitude, right? Because you want to start and you want to be able to enter the room and say, this is me, watch me, I'm here, hire me, I'm the best. Yes. Exactly.
Jazz hands.
Jazz hands. What are jazz hands?
Does
everybody know what jazz hands are, right? We have to go back to the 90s. I don't remember when that was.
50s?
50s? Okay.
Whatever.
So anyway, long time ago, before even I was born. Anyways, I teach some people who are doing business, who are business people here in Warsaw, and I've been told that they can open the door and look at potential employee and know exactly from the very beginning, from the start, if they're going to hire that person or not, if they're going to waste their time or not. So, and it doesn't really, one person actually told me that they had someone, here in Poland, when you send a CV, you send a picture. In America, with our resumes, there's no picture, but apparently somebody took a picture, I don't know, in the t-shirt. It was not really a professional one. They still hired the person because they saw the potential, which was amazing, I think.
Ballsy. Yeah.
Exactly. So yes, that first impression is very important. The next thing that we were looking at, the first impression, so how you present yourself.
Yes.
What do you have to do when you even arrive? What's really important in America is the fact of being on time. So, but on time doesn't mean if your interview is at 2, you come at 2.
2:01.
No. It means that you are there at 1:45 or even earlier. And that gives you a little bit of an incentive of what the place looks like. When I go to an interviews, and I've been to some interviews, and have you been to many interviews?
I've been to quite a few interviews.
Exactly. So we've done it, right? So you go to the interview, you sit right there in one of those couches like we're sitting right now, and you observe. And you learn the culture of the place.
Yeah, it's really important
flow.
because, of course, you have to remember, you don't maybe you want to get the job, but you want to get an offer. Yeah, that's
exactly.
You want to get an offer, and then you want to be able to choose if you want to work there. So it's not like a desperate situation. So you're sitting there waiting for your interview, observing the interactions between the employees, and feeling out the vibe. Because you don't want to be stuck working in a place where things aren't that great.
And you can see that from the very, very beginning. And at the same time, you never know who is observing you.
Yeah.
So you want to be there, and of course you should be relaxed. And
you should appear relaxed.
Sometimes for some of you who met me, and I do some of the interviews with you guys when you come to the Academy, I check your English. Sometimes you come here and you are so stressed out, and I ask you for your name and you're like, hi. So I see that, right? But you want to be exactly like, hey, I'm here and my name is Dom and I'm here to get the job.
And my English is amazing.
And my English is amazing, and you can come to the Academy to learn that English. And of course, you guys, you have the comments right there. So if you're more than welcome to ask any questions.
Yes, feel free to ask any questions. Hopefully we will have time to address them. If not now, we can go back and comment on it later or give some more tips. And if you write to us, it's also amazing practice for you. So we definitely encourage that, and we can have a bit of a discussion. Actually, I just wanted to note that this is not our typical classroom setup.
Yes.
So our classrooms will typically be more interactive. They're more student-based, so we won't be speaking as much. Of course, we want to guide you on the right path, but we want to, squeeze as much English out of you as possible. We want to know your opinions on things. We want to, if you have any sort of knowledge that you can share with us, that's also very interesting. To learn. You can tell us about Polish culture.
Exactly.
That's always fun.
And our classes are taught through conversation. Even when we talk about grammar, it is through conversation.
Yes. So no lecturing.
No lecturing. No lecturing.
Copy these sentences off the blackboard.
Or open the book and do exercises. We have to do some of them because you know what? We have to practice.
You have to practice.
You have to practice, and there is some homework sometimes. But sometimes homework is like this: watch Netflix without subtitles. So that's basically what some of the homework is, because you want to learn, remember, the accents, you want to expose your ear to English.
Yes, and you want to, whenever we, whatever homework we assign, we then discuss it during class, so you can not just hear new vocabulary. We want you to
use it, exactly.
To use it, to produce it, because that's the only real way to speak English. If you want to speak English, you got to practice speaking English.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly. So let's see. Let's start. So tips for before the interview. What do you need to do to get yourself ready? You have your CV or resume put together.
Yeah, you printed it
send
out.
it off. You send it off, and you get that phone call that you were invited. And what happens next? You die. No.
you jump for joy and
yes, you call your mother, Mom, guess what? I'm going to get the job. And
cry a little bit.
Yes, exactly. But obviously you want to start by researching the company and people that are going to possibly interview you. So you want to do that. Anything else that you've done before the interview?
So something that is very sneaky is looking up the company's mission statement.
Oh yeah.
So usually a company will have their online page and it has like a little about me or about us, about the company, or even just like a plain old mission statement. And then it's something to keep in mind. So you can, when you're writing your, what is it called? Cover letter?
Cover letter, yes.
Cover letter, of course, which is very important. Saying like, hi, my name is so-and-so. My name
I'm
is
interested
I'm
in the
interested
job.
in this offer. I think I'm a good candidate because of this, this, and this, and this. Please get back to me later. So you can use the language, the same, maybe not copy paste, but you can use the same buzzwords, the same phrases. From the mission statement.
Exactly. So you can definitely do that. So they can put you together. And it's really interesting because you can do the cover letter or you can do the cover video. Have you heard of those?
Yeah.
So you can definitely do that. So those are different tips and different ideas. But when you want to apply for an American company, our companies have websites. And the information that's there, it's 99% accurate. So you can really see what the company is about. There are pictures, there's the mission statement, there are the goals as well. And you can really see the clientele as well. And what the offices actually look like. You want to come prepared.
Yes. Ooh, one sneaky thing is, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, don't go ahead.
When I look at these websites of companies, I always check if their English is good.
Yes, I do too. I mean,
very picky.
I find all the typos, and I remember looking at something yesterday and there were typos, and I was like, oh no. So yes, for those of you who are in the management of your companies, make sure your English is appropriate.
Yes, because otherwise potential candidates might be like, oh, I don't know about.
They don't care. Yeah, am I going to lose English over there or not? Am I going to learn anything?
Yeah. Is this an American company?
Yeah, with bad English. That would not be really good. Okay, so before that also, what do? We actually help you guys prepare for your interviews by preparing some of the answers for the questions.
Yes.
And we can do that in the classroom. You come and you're like, okay, you know what? I'm applying for the job as, I don't know, receptionist, or I'm going to be in the management position. I'm going to be in sales. I'm going to be in marketing.
Yeah, financial analyst, or a lawyer, or anything. Doctor.
Or a doctor, for example, or a nurse. So we will prepare you for that because those are specific questions. But of course, the first question that everybody is being asked, well, tell me something about you.
Are you familiar with the elevator speech?
We'll go for it, yes.
So
music, yes, but speech, go for it.
The way we think of it is that you have to imagine the situation. So you're in your office, and you're like, okay, like I kind of want to get a new job, and you imagine your dream job, and you get on the elevator, and next to you is standing the hiring manager or the boss of your dream job. Yes. And he's like, he or she is like, hey, like, you look interesting, like tell me about yourself. So now you have 30 seconds or something from when the elevator goes from your floor down to the ground floor to tell this person, yes, to sell yourself.
Exactly.
So as a rule, you should always have like a little elevator speech ready for this
Always.
kind of situation.
Always.
So when someone says, "Tell me about yourself," you're like, "Yes, okay."
I'm the best teacher that there is, and I really want to get the job over here, and I'm the best student that you want to have in your academy. There you go.
Yeah, maybe using different adjectives, maybe not necessarily the best, but you could say, I always think about, like past, present, and future.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about like, I'm an expert in this field. Before I worked in that company in somewhere else. And now I
would like to develop maybe more.
Or you could even say, now I work here and here, this is what I do, but I'm looking to develop my skills in a different area, or I want to try something new, or a different type of position, or
Because what we're looking for as employers, we're looking for a person that is enthusiastic and wants to be, and is creative and wants to advance and better themselves.
Yes, and a person who knows what they want. So if someone asks you like,
motivated,
tell me about yourself, and you're like,
you know what? I just want to make money, but I don't want to do anything. And you see how my body language just went like this.
Yeah.
I'm just here because there's a job.
I don't know.
And I just want to, So, but you want to go in and be like, hire me right here.
Yeah.
Have you ever been hired on the spot?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you don't have to even wait for the offer, right? It's like, we want to hire you. Here's the offer.
Dream situation.
The dream situation, and it happened. It happened to me. It's like, okay, so when can you start? And that is like tomorrow. And then you're like, yes, I got the job, right? But of course, so that's one. And of course, we talk about how to describe ourselves. That's the elevator speech. But what makes you unique? Some of the questions might be like that. What makes you unique? I am unique because I have a really, vast experience in many different fields. All right, so that makes me versatile. I can do anything.
Or the opposite, I have a lot of experience in one field that nobody else knows about.
There you go.
And I'm the only person who can do it.
And
so
I'm the best for your company,
ways,
right there. So you can do both things. Well, the question that is going to be asked is, why do you want to work in the specific place? So what do you say? Which goes back to
the mission statement.
The mission statement, yes. Exactly.
Because you want to, you don't want to recite it back to them, because then it's like, okay, this person is crazy. They memorize our mission statement. What is wrong with them?
But it's really good to know it, because that shows to us that you are interested.
Yes, I think it's good to, obviously, if you're applying to a place, hopefully it aligns with your personal
ideologies, yes,
and views. And so people want to, obviously you want to make money.
Of course.
Hopefully.
Yeah. And the next question that is being asked is, what motivates you? Which could be the money.
Yeah,
right? It could be the money, but
I'm an optimist in this case, but I think most people are motivated by more than just money.
Money.
Hopefully you can live a life where...
Well, because you know what, we spend 40 hours of our week at work, if not more.
A lot of time.
So you want to be able to work in a place that you don't really say, I'm going to work and I really don't like it, but I'm going to work and it's going to be great.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be, I'm going to be, doing something that I value with my time.
Exactly. And for example, with me being a teacher, I love people. I love to interact with all of you. And I love to interact with all of you at the Academy. And I miss you all right now, because we have this screen in front of us, and I really miss the interaction. So that we can have in the classroom and we actually talk. So when you guys come to the Academy and you sign up and call, then we have that interaction right there. So that is what motivates me. The next thing is, what are you passionate about?
Yes.
So I'm passionate about people. So I work with people. I don't work with machines. I am a teacher. What motivates you?
Well, I'm also a teacher and motivated by people. But I always say that, I want to help people, or I want to empower people to be able to achieve their goals.
Exactly.
Because then, to me, it makes society better.
Exactly. So someone is asking, how long should I wait to follow up after the interview, and what should I write?
Okay, the follow-up.
The follow-up.
We can discuss it now.
Yeah, we can discuss it now. So after the interview, of course, when we will go back to the process again, you want to ask for the next step. So what's going to happen next? Are you going to call me? Am I going to call you? Am I going to get an email? So you kind of get that sense of time as far as how long it will take.
Yes. So you want to at the end when the interviewer is like, oh, do you have any questions?
That's the question.
That is the question that you can ask. You can ask, what is the next step?
Yeah.
And that's a good way to phrase it, because then it's like, oh, like when can I hear back that you've hired me? Then it's too hopeful, but you don't want to be. You want to neutral.
Exactly. And another thing that you can do, and it's very American to do, is to write a thank you note. And we'll talk about what you should write in a thank you note, what it should look like, and I can possibly write it after the session here in the comments, so you can see exactly what the structure is supposed to be. Yeah. But writing thank you notes in America, it is such a important thing.
Yes, you have to write a thank you note to anybody you interacted with.
Yes.
Yeah. And if you have like, a 3-step interview, you have to say a thank you to every single person on this panel, and the person who, and for the time that you spent, that they actually gave you and contributed. And I can tell you one thing, I've been burnt or taught at the very early age when I forgot to write a thank you note, and I didn't get the scholarship I was supposed to get. So that taught me really early to write thank you notes for every single thing, and it benefited me with some opportunities. Yes, and it's also a good idea because it shows you're polite, and sometimes like the hiring process isn't necessarily a priority for some of these people, so it kind of like, it's like a little reminder.
I'm right here. Yeah. Exactly. So the other questions, let's see, that we can ask. You want to definitely someone wrote aspire to inspire. Really like that. Yeah. Exactly. Nice. Because if we're applying for leadership positions, and I know when we talk about different generations, and millennials right now are in their 30s and 40s, and Z's are coming, and I'm Generation X. So we have different attitude towards work. And at the same time, when I talk to millennials, to you guys out there, you tell me, oh, I want to have someone that I can look up to. I want to have a boss that I look up to, that inspires me, so I can aspire to be like that particular boss. So obviously, that's one of the things that you may ask in the interview. Is there some kind of a leadership program, some kind of development that I can improve myself as a worker, myself as a person. We are all into mindfulness right now as well. That's really popular. But yes, you want to have someone inspirational, and maybe you can become that within the company, and you can show that in interview as well.
Yeah. Okay. So. Should we? Okay, so we're gonna go back to writing the thank you note, the structure.
At the very end, we're gonna go back to that
because it is the last step of the interview process.
Exactly.
Yes.
So millennials get slapped with reality. Yes, that's another thing. We have to be ready for the reality, and I can tell you that.
No pain, no gain.
Exactly. So what we were talking about: be ready, be prepared, and this is what the session is about: job interview tips.
Everyone's favorite question. What are your biggest weaknesses?
Ooh, I have none. None. No,
that is not an acceptable answer.
No, actually, you know what? I'm a workaholic, and I know that, and I tell people that I'm a workaholic. So the next question that always shows up: what is the life-work balance? Because that's also important. Like, why do we ask that? What are your weaknesses? That is mine. I work a lot, and that's possibly too much.
Yeah. Because I guess it could be perceived negatively as, oh, this person doesn't know how to manage their time.
Exactly. So you have to, but at the same time, if you're aware of it, that's the first step.
Yeah. So I think the most productive way to answer this question is, so you say what your biggest weakness is. For example, a response could be, here's a good one I heard today. So, someone asks me like, oh, what is your weakness? I say, sometimes when I know how to do something, I stick to that method even though it takes longer. Maybe there's a different method that I could learn to make me do it faster, but I stick to the method I'm comfortable with, even if it takes more time and it's not as efficient. But you can spin it around. So it's important
but
to
I'm adaptable,
follow.
yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's important to say what you are doing, what you are working on to change this habit. So for example, to that, I want to stick with one method sometimes. You'd be like, but with more experience, I am learning new methods and I'm becoming more confident in these methods. And if I get this job that I'm applying for, I can really, finesse these methods and I can be more proficient at it.
Yeah.
And therefore I can become, an asset to your company.
Exactly. At the same time, another word that you can, another way you can spin it is I am adaptable.
Yes.
I am flexible. I learn really fast. I'm adaptable to change. Change is coming.
Yeah.
And whenever you go to work, every day is different and that change happens. So if you mentioned that in the interview that you have adapted to changes, that you have experience, that is really an important feature and characteristic that the employers are looking for.
Yeah, I think adaptability may be one of the most important traits right now, even with the situation. Us teachers are adapting to teaching online.
Oh yeah, that's fun, right?
We love meeting in person. But we can also teach
online
via the internet, and it's and the students adapt too. So I'm sure we're doing a lot of that. We should just put adaptability. Everyone should put adaptability in their CV.
The word for today, it's adaptability. Because you have to be adaptable and you have to be able to go with change and what's happening with the world right now. You guys are becoming amazing students online, and you are fantastic, and we're doing our best as far as getting you guys to communicate. So we'll definitely, we do that at the Academy. We've been on the market for about 10 years. We have over 7,000, and let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right here, 7,006 that we see the comments from right now, satisfied customers. I know that people, when they come to the Academy, they improve their English really fast.
I think so, even after a few weeks, because it's not even just about your level of, vocab or grammar, it's about practice and experience.
Yeah,
so, eventually, even with it's like the interviewing process, the job interview stuff that we're talking about now, eventually if you practice this stuff,
it just becomes like
natural.
a second hand. Yeah, it becomes natural, and that goes with speaking English, and we guys will get you to talk. There's no way to use Polish in the Academy because we're from the States. We don't speak the language that you guys speak here. Our classrooms sometimes are multinational. I had a student from Vietnam, Italy, Argentina, Poland, and I think Russia in one classroom.
Fun.
So obviously the only language we could use was
the
English.
Lingua franca.
Exactly, which is English. And we teach the natural and authentic English, and you guys will be able to hear it right now. And at the same time, when you interact with us, we do speak slang, and we do speak in idiomatic idiomatic expressions. When you go to our classes that are in a lower level, of course we speak differently, but you'll be able to experience a little America at the Academy of New York, which, by the way, is located in the center of Warsaw, right by the Guitar, which is also American, by the way, Hard Rock Cafe. So, and of course, we'll help you guys get ready for the job interviews and even pick out your outfit. Yes, we can take you shopping to the mall. We will do it in English. We'll tell you what things are called and all that. So,
I have something I wanted to mention. It's going back to what we were talking about before with the interviews. So one of the things that they can ask you are, what are your weaknesses? So maybe now for a little exercise, or for anyone who's going to tune in later, and in the comments section, you can write down maybe what kind of answer would you give for this? Like, what is, you can write, it's very challenging.
Yes.
What is your biggest weakness, you know, in the job situation? And how can you put a positive spin on it? So this is a C1 level
C1
exercise.
level, yes.
You know, you have to make all these complicated acrobatics with your mind.
And
but it's good practice when you're preparing for the interview to write things down. If you write it in the comment section, we can go back and look over it and comment on it. So
definitely.
Feel free to write anything, interact, and even if we don't address it now, we can get back to it later.
Exactly. And just to let you know, guys, we also miss you. Like some of you are writing over here. We miss our interaction in the classroom, and hopefully soon, if we do what we're supposed to do and stay at home and be safe, we'll be able to be in the classroom soon. But we can also meet online, so if you'd like to sign up for classes online, please do so. You can have us teach you English. I have a class tomorrow, so there you go. See, you can see us like this. This is not a normal, this is not a typical lesson. We're talking a lot right here, but we want you to listen to the language and give you some tips. But when we actually have a classroom, either online or in person, we get the English out of you.
Yes.
So even the A1 levels, right? But
it may be painful, but we'll get it out of you.
We'll get it out of you.
No, it's always fun.
Squeeze it out.
Okay, so tell me about the STAR method. So sometimes,
the STAR method, yes.
Sometimes someone might ask you to describe a difficult situation at work, and how did you manage to deal with it? So it's not only like dealing with stress; it's how do you deal with other people? How do you deal with conflict? How do you deal with conflict with your manager?
Any type of situation. Yes. So basically, you have to describe it as a STAR method. So we have S-T-R-S-T. We can't spell at C1 level. S-T-A-R. So S stands for situation. So you want to set the situation.
Set the scene, like the background information. So at my company, where I had been working for 5 years,
this happened.
Yeah, we were working on this project, and all of a sudden, I had a conflict with one of the suppliers, for example.
So there's a situation. Then, of course, like Marika said, there is a task. So there is a T, right? So there's a task. So you describe what task you were involved in.
So this is important because it brings you in. So you have the situation, which is general, and then task. What is your role?
What is your responsibility?
What is your responsibility?
I was leading something. I was in charge of this particular project, and my job was, and we were on a team of 7, and only 2 people showed up. Sounds familiar, huh? Yes. So action. What action? What kind of solution I decided, or
A for action.
A for action. What kind of action was implemented, and of course, what result? That's the R. What result was as an outcome? So of course, it could be successful. It could be not successful. It shows your employer that you're having the analytical thinking going on.
Yes. So S for situation, T for task,
A for action, and then R for result.
So even if there is a crisis or something, you can change it, you can spin it, as we say in English, in a way where it's beneficial to you, and it shows your best quality.
Exactly. It shows your adaptability as well, and it shows your ability to work with a team, or motivating a team, or leading a team. It just depends where you fit within the company, because remember, they're hiring you to be a part of a team. Either it be a team within a department, or a team as a company, or maybe they're looking for a potential leader or manager or whomever, or potential CEO. You can go up that business ladder and get there. And where does it start? At the Academy of New York, when you learn English with us, and you come to class, and we teach you how to do this.
Yes, we can definitely help you.
And we'll definitely can draw some stars as well. And you get stars when when you are. I'm talking. Wait a minute. This is not kindergarten. So anyway.
Yes. So even with the crisis, you can spin it to make it your greatest accomplishment.
Exactly.
Sometimes you ask, what is your greatest accomplishment? This is what you do. Do you want to talk, while we have a couple more minutes, do you want to talk about the structure of the thank you note?
Yeah, the thank you note. So the thank you note definitely should be written when you leave the interview, and I usually literally sit in my car and I type it on my phone and send it right away. So that's what I do. But maybe you don't have a phone, you can write emails, you just go home and type it right away, especially when you're applying for a job within the American company. That is almost to be expected.
Yes.
So you can get a job just by getting a thank you note or sending it. So obviously you're supposed to write on the very top the subject line, and you can say thank you for your time, right?
Yes, so that is what we're thanking for. We're thanking for time. We're thanking for attention. We're thanking for the opportunity. We're thanking for...
we're thanking for the time that they took to interview us and, to show the company. Let's see. The first paragraph, that is where the thank you is. Of course, you have to address the person. You may address the group if you're being interviewed by the group. Or if you are being interviewed by one person, that's the person you're addressing. And of course, you're thanking them for the time and thanking them for... make sure that in your thank you note, you put in what position you're interviewing for.
Yes. It's almost like a little, well, you're thanking them, but it's also a little summary of who you are.
Exactly.
You also thank for the opportunity. For example, thank you for the opportunity to, like, I enjoyed this opportunity to learn more about your company. And
it was really great to meet with you in person, because remember that you already are, this is like the second level of your interviews, and you already had the phone call. So they know your voice, but they haven't seen your face. Yes. So this is the time when you thank them for the time physically taken and meeting face to face.
Yes, you can thank them for answering any questions.
Exactly. And you can also, talk about your interest and goals and experience at the same time, because again, it's like, hey, I am this person, and again, you want to sell yourself. So this is almost like cover letter, but in reverse. So that's really what that is. And so that's the next paragraph. And the following paragraph, you want to again set yourself apart from everybody else. You want to show your individuality. So it could be either, hey, remember me, I am the person who, and I was the best at this, and I will offer to your company this and this. So that is your roughly, exactly. It's supposed to be short. Do not write a very long email. That's what I've seen with people from this country. Whenever you write something, it is very long. But remember, paragraphs, short, concise,
even
to the
the
point.
Sentence structure does not have to be that complex.
Do not do long sentences.
Some cultures like long sentences. American English, we try to keep
it
simple while we can.
Exactly.
And then at the very end, don't forget
simple,
to.
Sorry, guys.
Don't forget to say that you look forward to hearing back from them soon,
exactly.
Because then it opens up the floor to them. You kind of expect them to contact you somehow.
Yes, and when you write that salutation at the very bottom, thank you again, write your name, write your contact information, because they're not going to be looking for your resume. You want to have it right there and then. And even if you put an email in, they can click right on it, or your phone number, they can call you right back with the offer, right? Hey, this is the thing.
I like the phrase, thanks for bearing with me.
Yes.
Because then it's like, oh, you had to, suffer through my presence.
Thank you so much. But you know what, when you go to the interview, come prepared. So have your, research the company, have your resume or CV ready for them, printed out as well. Any materials, for example, if you're interviewing to be an architect, bring some of your projects. Portfolio, exactly. So you have to have a portfolio. If you're interviewing for whatever position, make sure that you have something
references.
References. So definitely you need references. And when I was coming to Poland, I had 10 letters with me. And I asked my bosses, so it was really great.
If you have references, don't forget to ask the person referring you if for permission. So for example, I'm applying to this company, they might call you
Exactly.
Okay, so you're giving their information.
And very often I was the reference for a lot of people, so the companies would call me and definitely they would ask me, hey, have you ever worked with that person? What are their best traits? And there you go. So it's almost, if you're the reference for somebody and this company calls you in English, practice again.
Yeah.
So you can do that as well.
Yes.
So that's one. And
I guess we have to wrap up.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. So thank you. Here's our thank you note to you.
Yes, thank
you.
you.
Thank you for bearing with us.
Yes.
Thank you for sticking through these. If you stayed for 2 sessions, then
yes.
Thank you for your attention. I'm sure you're
thank
exhausted
you so much.
from listening to us yammering on.
And we invite you guys to come to the Academy. And the next session is on Monday. Adam and Chris will talk about 20 American slang words. So we're going to go into slang from, business world to slang that you should know in order to understand us better. Yes. So thank you so much. See you guys next time. You. And bye.
Bye. Hope to see you soon.
Hope to see you guys.